Welcome everyone for our first parent presentation here at Liberty High School. We're very excited. We hope that we continue to have these monthly wellness center presentations with our parents. I am Ms. Godino. I am the school social worker here at Liberty.
My name is Mr. Arias. I'm the MTSS counselor in the Wellness Center.
We send out a link to our parents and our families asking them to participate in this parent survey. As you see the results, a lot of the parents were concerned with their student experiencing stress and anxiety, sadness and depression. Only 35% of our parents really knew what the Wellness Center is, and we really want our parents to really know what services and resources are available for their students. So one of the first things that we require is that students come in with a pass. Our students check in using the desktop. We also have a QR code, which you could see behind me. Do they just need to go to one of the stations and just kind of have some time to themselves? We always have very relaxing instrumental music on to really help the students regulate their nervous system and really help with de-escalation and just help stabilize them as well. And once the students leave, we sign their pass and they're able to go back to their class. Our students are able to come to the Wellness Center Monday through Friday from 8 in the morning until 4 o'clock. What else? We are also open during both lunches.
There's also a list of our extension that if you need to contact us directly. There's the school phone number with our extensions there. And so you feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns regarding your student.
So one of the things that we want to talk about, what is wellness? And so wellness is pretty much a place within where you are able to function at your best in mind, body, and spirit. It's finding that balance. It often feels like we're thriving and not drowning.
Overall, our Wellness Center is a quiet, calm, and peaceful place for all of our students who need social and emotional support. And specifically, we have monthly student wellness workshops that target specific areas. With that said, we're going to be also conducting group counseling sessions for our students throughout the year.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about our individual counseling services. I am a licensed clinical social worker. The referrals come in from counselors, our administrators. I cannot force any student to do therapy if they don't want to. When students are being pulled out of class, it's for about 30 minutes. We do weekly sessions. And some of the things that we're also doing for our staff and our students is we're doing something called Mindful Monday Tips, where we're sending out weekly tips to our staff and students about self-care, how to manage their anxiety, how to manage depression. We also have something called Wellness Wednesday quotes of the day. And we do that every Wednesday. And again, we just really wanna support our students with having a fresh start that morning and really focusing on the wellness and being able to put whatever challenges they have on the side and be able to push through so they're able to get through the day for that day. There's a lot of transitions with families moving, with students coming in from junior high. We're doing a lot of risk assessments. So that means that we're assessing a lot for suicide ideation. Anytime that we do a risk assessment, we do notify the parent. Some of the school-wide events that we had early this month, we had a full week of anti-bullying. We are getting ready to do a Red Ribbon Week, and in May we do Mental Health Week for mental health awareness. You're also going to see some pictures here from some of the workshops that we had in the past. When we have those workshops, we always usually have a signing sheet so that if somebody feels like they need additional services like a one-on-one, or if they want to participate in a group, we have those signing sheets for them to sign up for those extra support. Extra services and support.
So in this slide, we want to talk about some of the common high school challenges that our students face. The first one that we see and that we notice a lot is social anxiety. And what does that look like? So for instance, we provided these students thinking tips and action tips that they can incorporate into their daily life or during their presentations so that they can make it easier transition. Another one of the challenges that we have is grief and loss. We've had plenty of students come into the Wellness Center to report that they've lost a family member or a loved one in the past couple of years, and they're still struggling with that. They're going through the grief.
One of the things that we're seeing with grief and loss is maybe there's separation between mom and dad. Our freshmen, as they're transitioning from junior high now into high school, we have military families that move or are being relocated. So
the next one is those transitions. And like Sylvia was talking, there's a lot of students that are struggling with the expectations. A lot of these students are coming from middle school to high school, and most of those are also as well them missing their friends and having a hard time adapting to these expectations now that come with being a high school student. Another one of the challenges is having conflict with peers, that interaction that is needed between students and between age groups.
Yeah, so a lot of what we're seeing with this one in particular is relationship. We talk about, self-worth. We talked about respect.
Another big conflict that we're seeing here in high school is students being able to manage their stress. What is stress and how does that show in our body? And at that point, we were able to provide them some tips. Another one that we're seeing, and Sylvia touched on this, was the lack of self-compassion and self-care, where our students are having a hard time adapting to these challenges and adapting to this pressure. And a lot of them beat themselves up a lot. And we were able to see that at the end of the 6-week grading period, where a lot of students came in and they were really emotional. They were really distressed about the fact that they weren't performing to their expectations or to their standard. So a lot of that, when they come to us, we try to emphasize positive techniques, positive self-talk. So all that causes distress on them. And we're at the Wellness Center. Our purpose is to hear them out and be able to help them self-advocate, give them time management resources so that they can cope with the stress, provide them with a daily planner.
One of the things that we also do is we collectively work a lot with our counseling team, with our school counselors. So when we do have a student that's struggling in a class, we always, encourage them to reach out to their counselor to see if there's anything that they could also put in place to support the student.
Another one of our challenges that we're seeing with students is the fact of the self-harming and suicidal ideation. When our students come into the Wellness Center, we have them check in and be able to help them out by doing risk assessment, safety planning, and get them to the right help. And then lastly, one of the ones that we're dealing with was bullying. And this was especially a concern for us coming into the school year because we had a lot of our students transitioning from middle school to high school. So one of the ways that we address that is by having our anti-bullying week. And during that week, we had lunch activities promoted by our counselors. So we got our counseling team involved and be able to provide these students with more knowledge, more resources, and let them know that they're not alone, that we have help and that we do not tolerate bullying in this campus.
Okay, so one of the things that we want to do next is how can we both work together to support our students' wellness? So one of the things that really helps us here at the Wellness Center is having that home to school communication. Maybe it's an email, maybe it's a phone call. We're able to help them come up with solutions to communicate with their teachers. We're able to also communicate with their counselors. One of the things that we do is we encourage our students to have that conversation with their parents. Our next one that we indicated is to do check-ins. And so when we're checking in with those students, we're just asking, how was your day? How are you doing? How are you going to get through the rest of the day? What can I do right now to support you? So those are just simple questions that I do. And someone will say, I don't know. And sometimes it's like, okay, well, tell me one thing that's going well for you today. You're having a very challenging day, but look, you've made it through lunch now. You made it the whole morning. So what can we do to push through in order to get you through the rest of the day? So having those quick check-ins at home too, in the mornings, after school, during a meal. We talked about the communication. So I noticed, and you let them know, I noticed, you've been very happy lately. Sometimes as parents, we focus on the negative stuff. Whatever we see that's not going well, we call it out. And so just ending on that note too, a lot of them are able to realize like, wow, this actually helped, or wow, I'm actually feeling a lot better now. Self-compassion, that's something that we talked a lot about is, we have some really dedicated, very ambitious students. Okay, we hear them, we support them, we validate them, setting some healthy boundaries as well. One of the things that we do here as well, we do have a bell schedule. We do have a routine that we do as students. Even when it comes to the Wellness Center, there's a routine. You check in, you bring your pass, you go to one of the stations, and then we'll check in with you. They already know the expectation. You're allowed to be here 15, 20 minutes, and then we send you back to class. Part of self-care is also taking care of yourself and creating that schedule and that routine for yourself. A lot of what we're trying to do is also hold them accountable for completing their homework and setting up a schedule. Some of our students are going to be 18 pretty soon. And so we want them to be held accountable for the things that they're responsible for. And at this point, they're responsible for taking care of themselves and making sure that things are being done. One of the things that we also do is celebrate successes, even if it's small. Our counseling team really does a good job with recognizing, the different GPAs, not just like the 4.0 GPAs, but even if somebody's getting a 3.0 or 2.0, they're different successes, but they're being celebrated. And so I know I've met a handful of students that the little things like made a big difference, like even getting up that morning and being there. So relationships, that's a huge one. That's a huge one because they're interacting with other peers during lunch, before school, and after school. So some of the issues that we've had with our peer conflicts is that, we're seeing that a lot of these kids are just don't have very positive friends sometimes. Some of those friends could be what they say in their words, toxic relationships. So sometimes with our students, it's like they either have friends or they just don't have nothing at all.
And one of the things that we also do on the daily with students who are having a hard time finding friends is they usually come to the Wellness Center. And on Fridays, we try to have a Friday fun day.
So one of the things, I like to tell our students and even my kids, I always say, take action, be part of the solution and not the problem. If you see something that's going on, be part of that solution, help out your classmate, or, help yourself out, or do this or that, but don't be part of the problem. So one of the things that we mentioned earlier was on the first day of class, first day of school, we met with all of our students in the gymnasium. We went over bullying. We went over our policy. We had a full week of activities.
For Anti-Bullying Week, we had a lot of activities. For instance, we had our counselors come out during lunchtime. And during the first day, we had a pledge to anti-bullying where we raffle a lot of things as well so that we can get students involved, have our presence of the Wellness Center and the counseling team out there so that students know that we are responding to these needs.
But one of the things I wanted to go here, and when you click on that link, it takes you to the district's website. So you're able to fill out the information. The district gets notified. And then we also receive an email. The administrators here receive an email. We do meet with that student. We meet with also the alleged student as well. So we do invite you to visit our website or the school's website. That's kind of what we do for that. One of the things that we have here is we have a list of resources. Care Space. It's an agency that's contracted with the county, Riverside County Office of Education, and they provide a lot of different services. And one of the services that they provide is therapy, either virtually or in person. Those services are completely free. Then we have Care Solace. It's something that the school district uses for employees as well as our students and families. Basically, as like that, it's that second party where they're located. Their job is to locate those services, make all those phone calls, leave messages. And then we have some additional information there. On the right-hand side, we call them blue cards. And we give this out to students, especially when they are being assessed. So it has a text line, it has a hotline so that they're able to call someone and talk to someone. Next time you're feeling this way, can you tell a neighbor, can you tell someone, right? We do want to collect your feedback.
With that said, we want to collect your feedback on today's presentation, the topic that we covered, and see how well we covered it. So that way we can create changes or depending on some of our strengths. And also there's going to be a question in there that is going to be asking about times. Which times work best for you guys? We want to make sure that we have exposure to a majority of our parents. So
what I want to do next time is I want to really engage in conversation, as parents, to be like, what, I was struggling with this and this is what I did and this is what helped me. Hopefully next month, we'll figure out a time so that we are able to have more parents involved and ask more questions.
Alrighty, so for our next parent workshop, it's going to be kind of the same. We're going to send out a registration form a day or two before the actual meeting takes place. I will go ahead and email you guys the Zoom link and where you guys would be able to join us for our next workshop. And then we're going to host another raffle as well at every workshop. So you guys will always have a chance to win something.
Well, thank you so much again for taking the time to be part of this conversation today. I really hope that you felt this information was helpful. And again, that you got to kind of see our faces and hear our voices and be able to reach out to us,
With that, I just want to thank parents for taking their time. Hopefully this was helpful in determining some of the services that we do. when you guys hear about the Wellness Center now, you'll have a better idea of what we do, what we have to offer, and some of the techniques that we use. So thank you for taking your time